Hello and welcome to an admittedly quite late episode of the weekly Deathmatch. I'm sorry about that. I plain forgot. It's Monday evening, and hopefully by the time this is uploaded it'll still be Monday evening. But I kind of forgot. I've lost complete track of the days of the week, to be honest. I thought today was Sunday for the longest time. And it's probably because normally I have Saturdays off, but I'm working Saturdays lately and having Mondays off instead. So that's completely thrown off my perception of what day of the week it is without me actively thinking about it. So that's why it's late. But it's here now, and this is a match I pre-recorded. I pre-recorded a few Quake Champions matches just to kind of have in the bank. So that if I if I happened to come across a strange situation where I needed an emergency an emergency match to upload, then I would have one, and funnily enough, I do. I have like two more as well. Yeah, I have like two more matches, but they're not very good. I'll probably just delete them and start recording some more matches throughout the week. But yeah, this is The Longest Yard. It's a brand new map that probably came out like 2 weeks ago. It's a bit different to all the other maps in that it's very open and it has a very long area like this. Also, I think it's another classic Quake map that they've brought back from the annals of history. I think that's the first time I've ever used the word annals, and I'm not sure if I used it correctly. Also, yeah, this was like my second time ever playing the map, so I fell to my death a couple of times because I am not a smart person, but I've played it plenty more times since then. But yeah, so today, as it's my day off, I have been playing Runescape, and in Runescape there is a city called Prifddinas. It came out in 2014, and you need to complete a Grandmaster quest to unlock it. The quest requires, I think, 10 skills at level 75. If you've ever played Runescape, you know level 75 takes a little bit of time to obtain. You know, it's not as hard as a 99, but when you've got 10 of them to get, it's going to take a while, especially if it's in skills that you don't particularly enjoy training, such as summoning, or, well, I didn't like dungeoneering at the start of it, but I do now. But anyway, I won't talk too much about like the details, but basically it was a very long journey to unlock this city, and today I finally did the last quest, because there were lots of quests to do as well to unlock it, and I finally did the last one, and I finally unlocked the city, and I love it. It's a really cool area in the game, and it feels really rewarding to finally have it unlocked. And but there is a method of crafting of a new city called well, basically people just say they're AFKing harps. So basically you play a harp, and your character plays the harp for a while, and it gives you crafting XP. The harp eventually breaks. You mend it, you get construction XP for mending it, and then you keep playing the harp and you get crafting experience because you're like crafting music or whatever. And it's basically the kind of skill you can do without having to pay too much attention to the game, because if you're wearing headphones or whatever and you've got the music on in the background, you can just hear it as soon as the harp stops, so just tap back in and click complete. So what I've been doing while that's been going on is playing the NES classic games on the eShop. I'm not sure if I've talked about this in a roguelike ramble or the previous weekly Deathmatch. I don't remember if I talked about it, but basically the Nintendo subscription service for the online service came out, and it comes with a host of NES games that they're going to add to. And I'm not a huge fan of the NES. I'd rather it was the SNES. That would be preferable. I would like to play like Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time and all that kind of stuff. That would be great to play on the Switch, and we know it's capable of running that, so I hope they do eventually do that. But I've been playing Super Mario with save states, so not like in the middle of a level, but at the beginning of every level I put a save state, so I don't really have to worry about losing lives. And I'm glad about that, because I've never played the game from start to finish. I'm not sure I've ever even beaten the game, but if I have, it's by doing a kind of shortcut route of taking the warp pipes at the beginning of the second level. But it's not really difficult. I feel like every time I die it's because I'm not paying enough attention to the game. But it's tough. I'm in like World 5 at the minute. I haven't played too much of it, and it's quite fun. I'm looking forward to playing Mario 3 as well, because I've never played that one, and people say it's the best 2D Mario game there is. So I actually own it on 3DS, but I played like the first level and then I didn't play any more of it, so that was kind of dumb. But hey, now I own it on Switch and I'm going to play it on Switch. But the subscription service is a bit weird because people are like, wait, I've been playing Rocket League online for free all this time, but now I have to pay for it, even though it's exactly the same and it's not any better. Or people are assuming it's going to be a better multiplayer service now, even though nothing's changed really. People are getting upset about it, but it did say at the beginning, like, oops, there I go again. It did say at the beginning that it was a trial run. It's just that they took so damn long to put the subscription service out that people forgot it was a trial run, and maybe they didn't make it quite so as obvious as they could have done. So that's kind of weird. But another game I've been playing lately is a game called Star Control Origins, and it launched this week actually. So if you've ever played the original Star Control games, it's basically a reboot of that series. And while I've never played the originals, I knew of the series. It was brought to my attention a couple of years ago. I was like, oh, this is what they used as inspiration for the Spore Space Stage, basically. And the Spore Space Stage has a lot of problems with it. It's basically an economy grind. Okay, so it's a bit different to Star Control because it has like real-time strategy elements to it as well. But I remember I liked that mode a lot more than most people did. And I remember seeing Star Control Origins when it was announced and just being like, well, fuck, this looks like my dream space game that isn't No Man's Sky, that also turned out to not be my dream space game, but I still do appreciate it, especially with the latest updates, but I've talked about that before. So I've been playing some Star Control Origins. I haven't got that far through it yet. I'm like maybe 4 or 5 hours into it, maybe less. But I really like it. The lore is really good. It's kind of the story and the way it's kind of written is aimed more towards young adults, I think. But it's enjoyable all the same. Not everything has to be doom and gloom all the time. Like there's a few dialogue things that have made me go, I kind of wish it was maybe aimed towards older people, but I get why it's not. And it's still a really good story, and I've just been really stuck into it, and I've only had the one play session. I was actually going to play it again before I realised I hadn't recorded a weekly deathmatch. I was like, shit, and scrambled to put this together. But I'm probably going to play this again after this video starts uploading, after it's done rendering even, and play more of it. And I really like how, like, it's not an infinite universe. There's thousands of planets and hundreds of systems, but it's not an infinite universe. They're not automatically generated. They actually, like, have something to them. And the planets are kind of like, it's not this massive scale, like, oh, it's like, it takes you like 500 hours to drive from one side of the planet to the other kind of thing. It's just small little planets. They're not going for realistic sizes or anything. It's just a small little planet or a moon that you can drive your little thing around on and collect resources. And I've heard some criticisms that becomes a bit of a grind later on. But again, I've played Spore Space Stage and enjoyed it, and that's an economy grind. But I'm enjoying the story so far. And it's just charming. It's quite a charming game, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it. Although, because I've played a lot of Spore, playing it, I do kind of I wish there were more customization options, but that's just because, I've played a very different style of game and I'm attributing it to being similar. It would be nice if you could, like, customize the look of your ship or something, though. Or, like, I don't know, maybe do a little bit more on the planets, but I don't know if they have plans to patch the game, and how many times have I said I don't know in the last 5 minutes? I feel like I've been saying that a lot, but yeah, that's about that. Another thing I was going to talk about, and I don't really have a good segue into this, but lore for games like World of Warcraft and Elder Scrolls Online. I follow PC Gamer, and they put out a timeline for the lore of Warhammer, and I know barely anything about the Warhammer universe, but I decided to read this timeline, and man, that world's fucking bleak, isn't it? It has, like, it goes from like -2000 to like 2500. That's like the span of years, and sometime in like the 1200th year, like most of the human population die of the plague. Like most of them, they just die off and then come back again, and that's not even the end times. Warhammer has a thing called the end times, where basically it's the end of the world and the bad guys win. And that sounds really grim, but what's more grim is, from what I read on the timeline, it looks like at the end of it there's going to be a kind of Pyrrhic victory, like kind of Last Jedi style victory, where most of the people are dead, but they kind of save the world a little bit and they're ready to start over. But then, at the very last minute, the bad guy, like, turns around and wins anyway, and then destroys everything. And, like, a couple of characters survive on a new world or something, ready to start over. So, that's grim. But anyway, thank you for watching today's episode. I quite enjoyed this match, and I'm glad I got to share it with you. Sorry it's late.